let's say you've fallen down the hard dance rabbit hole so far that the BPMs are just going higher and higher and higher until you reach 300 BPM, which is the limit of speedcore. And you think, oh, the kicks are very fast, but what about something else? So that's where melodic speedcore comes in, which has a nice euphoric melody to complement that super fast kick. Melodic speedcore artists you may know of are Senhi Ausa or Cabario, Tifa Zolite, and yeah, let's just get started. So you want to set the tempo to something between 150 and 300. It does sound a bit low for speedcore since most speedcore is above 300 BPM, but the reason why you do this is to make it easier to make the track. To fix the BPM being too low, you just put 2 kicks in one beat. So you want to start with the intro drums. So you've got a crash, kicks, something that's distorted but not too distorted. Like it's got to have a nice crunchy tail. You want to cut off the tail, and then just have the kicks like that. On some bits you want to have this variation kick, and that's created with a lot of distortion and some really weird EQs. Then you've got to have the build-up snares. And then a downlift at the beginning of the intro. And a riser at the end. First break is the simplest break, it's just a slow piano. This is a nice slow piano. And pads. The pads are just going to be playing nice big chords. But then they've got a lot of reverb. Got to put lots and lots of reverb. So it sounds very atmospheric and bass as well. It's pretty much just a sub, but then there's also a little bit of other bass. But it's important that you don't put this bass in the main parts of the track because the kick's going to take up all of the bass there. Put a noise, a background noise behind it. Like that. So the melody, you want to make something that's pretty fast with lots of short notes. And to make that kind of sound, you just want lots of saws, some of them with sync, then layer on some chords. So there's a saw chord and squares as well. Then the pads and the bass from earlier. Then we're going to build up again with the build-up drums. Getting faster. So this fill comes just before the drop, and then there's someone yelling. This is completely optional, but I like to have it there. And yeah, just remember to filter everything in, especially the leads. So it starts off quite quiet, then gets more in there, and then the drop. So the drop itself has that kick again. This time you have the tail on the kick. But as you can see, there's 2 kicks in one beat, which makes the BPM sound like it's twice as fast as 220, which makes 440. The drums in the drop are going to be pretty minimalistic. It's just the kick and the crash, then the melody from earlier, the chords from earlier, the pads from earlier, and white noise. So the white noise just kind of goes like that. It's kind of like a downlift around a riser. Then you also want to have these things again. So after the first drop, you want to go straight into the build-up. No break, just go right in there. Because we've got energy. and this is just the same as this one. Now for the second drop, you want something different, something varied. So we're going to have a different kick. This one's a little bit more distorted. And then that goes into this dubstep kind of beat. So you hear that dubstep bass. Just a very simple dubstep pattern. You don't need to go too crazy with it. Then the kicks, and it just repeats that pattern for the whole drop. Now to make people know that it's different, we're going to have a different vocal at the end of the build-up, as well as vocal chants in the drop. So you've got this anime kind of sample, as well as this, which I just chopped to make it an offbeat chant. And then the final section is just going to be the melody again. Now we've got the break. The break is actually more important than a lot of people think, because a lot of people just kind of neglect it. So we've got that slow piano again, as well as the slow pads and bass. But then we're going to add another layer of piano. And don't forget to stack the layers. So here we have a glockenspiel. I like glockenspiel because it has a nice high sound, which goes well with the piano. And let's add more orchestral stuff, so strings. How about some massive drums? Lots of reverb and stuff going on there. So these are just orchestral style drums from a sample pack somewhere, like Kashmir. You just want to use those in the second part of the break. Then you're going to filter in the melody, which goes into the final build-up. Then the final build-up's the same as the earlier build-ups, and then we go into the final drop. So for the first half of the final drop, you want to have the same kick pattern as the first drop, but in the second half, you want to go crazy and just spam kicks everywhere. So you can hear it's very crazy. And there's lots of those like really fast machine gun sections, like, as well as rides. Like the rides can just go with the kicks. Yeah, the rides are just optional. And then finally you just stick an outro on, basically the same as the intro, but I put the chords and pads there as well. So then after that, don't forget to do all the mixing, especially the side chain. Don't forget the side chain. Of course, the rest of the mixing too, but then I'm not going to show that here because it takes literally forever. At the end, your track should sound something like this.
Let's go.
Drop that fucking shit now.
Let's go.